Good afternoon, everyone. Today, Stanley and I would like to share some ideas on the consequences of pandemic on employment with you. This presentation will be divided into two main parts, short-term and long-term, you can see here. I will do the short-term part firstly, and Stanley will do the long-term part. I divided short term as employment gains and employment losses, also known as unemployment. So let's look at the gain first. You may be curious, COVID-19 is dealing a severe blow to state economies and many industries are crushed. How could there be any gains? Well, let's see. These are four industries I found with dramatic employment increasing among others. They are delivery, healthcare, indoor entertainment, and financial tech. The first one is about delivery. Amazon hired 175,000 temporary workers as people stuck at home due to the pandemic switched to do shopping online. Although Instacart did not hire as many employees as Amazon did, they extended COVID-19 pay for part-time employees, and they have got bonuses for in-store teams until the end of the pandemic. FedEx, they held a job fair looking into 5 permanent and part-time positions at its World Hub in Memphis to face a significant demand in home package deliveries. Yes. Here we come to the healthcare part. As the coronavirus patients surge, medical students had to rush into practice to fight the pandemic. Michigan allows students who are enrolled in programs to become licensed, registered, or certified health professionals to volunteer to work to support the state's COVID-19 response. Medical students are also allowed to graduate earlier or provided with temporary license in some states, such as California. Rutgers University is among the first in the country to expedite graduation of medical students. And here comes to indoor entertainment. Some indoor entertainment industries are seeing increasing employee demand as well. For instance, Netflix. Netflix added nearly 16 million subscribers in the first quarter of the year as customers worldwide grappled with coronavirus lockdowns. In addition to the growth in new members, the most significant impact has been growing their customer team by 2,000 employees. Similar things are happening for Epic Games and Riot Games. And the last industry I would like to refer to is financial tech. PayPal is hiring 800 employees as more people today pay using QR code or for online purchases amid the coronavirus pandemic. Now let's go back and see the short-term unemployment part. In this part, we will firstly have an overview on unemployment numbers, followed by transportation and tourism, retails, and small businesses. Based on the data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, we can find that the civilian unemployment rate has risen sharply in 2020, although unemployment rate fell to 13.3% in May from April's 14.7%. We have to say it is still higher than that of the financial crisis in 2008. Today, We are here using WebEx to have remote classes because the nation is under lockdown. Many essential businesses are restricted, not to mention tourism. We can see Air Canada will lay off 5,100 members of its cabin crew, which accounts for half of its current roster. Hertz, they plan to lay off 10,000 workers from its North American business. Flight Centre, it is Australia's largest travel agent. They are laying off and putting on leave 1/3 of its employees. Guess what? They have got 20,000 employees in totals. So there could be 6,667 employees lose their job. Let's look at retails. Normally, traditional retails have been hit hard by e-commerce. This pandemic has no doubt added insult to injury for retails. JCPenney, one of the most high-profile retailers, is permanently closing 154 stores across 20 states this summer as part of its bankruptcy plan. Pier 1 Imports is also to shuttle all stores in bankruptcy. Let's see, small business. Small business are facing severe losses. Probably 100,000 small businesses have closed down permanently, and small businesses employ 48% of all U.S. employees. That could be the reason for high unemployment rate currently.
Thank you. I'll be talking about the long-term impacts of unemployment due to the pandemic. There's going to be a societal change. Who knows somebody who's working from home? Well, we all do. Our professors are currently working from home. You're doing a great job, by the way. But on a more personal note, for example, my brother is working from home. To give some background, he was a clinical nurse for 14 years. About a year and a half ago, he made the change into the business side of the hospital, really in risk management. Well, when COVID hit, they said all non-essential personnel, you got to go home and you got to work from home. Due to his hospital's investment in technology, he's able to still do the same risk management. He's able to pull up all the data. And after COVID's over, they've said, you guys can stay home. You're getting the same amount of productivity. So here we go. 98% of employees would like the option, at least, to work from home going forward. And here are reasons why. Flexible schedule. You can work from anywhere. You no longer have to be tied to an office location. Big one for my brother and for most people is no commute. The average American spends roughly 9 days a year commuting to work. 9 full days. The average commute now is 27 minutes one way. You get additional family time. But it does come with some downsides. Managers are worried that they're losing cohesiveness. There's also reduced employee productivity. And that does lead to some privacy issues. How do managers continue to track their employees' time? Will it involve installing software, cameras to make sure they're actually at their desks? But society is changing its views towards working at home. Before it was less desired, now it may become a part of the normal operations. Some tech giants, such as Twitter, have basically told their employees, you never have to come back. You get your work done, we're good. Gartner, the major business research company, has basically said, even after the pandemic has subsided, that 48% of employees will still likely work from home some of the time. This is all possible because of the rise in technology such as Slack and Zoom and other technology that allows people to still communicate as if they're in person. Now, one last thing here. But employees also do have some concerns as well. There is a loneliness, and some employees feel like they may not be able to stand out or gain the recognition that they deserve with their managers. It's hard sometimes for managers to see the real contribution by employees when you're working from home. Those that do come back to the office going forward, there will be some changes. The offices will shrink likely. There might be more distributed. The companies may no longer want the massive campus or one location, instead opting as a risk management strategy to spread out offices, to provide smaller offices closer to their employees. The structure of the office will change for employees. Instead of the open space concept, they're back to the individual rooms as a way to contain any of the pandemic's effects. And coming to work, there will be temperature screenings, masks, and social distancing. And this will also bring back whether or not employers have the right to intrude on basically individuals' personal health. Part of that, though, also might be a change in the attitude of the American worker. Instead of saying toughing it out and coming into work sick, people are now more cognizant of staying home when they are sick because they don't want to spread anything, and that may be a societal change going forward. And because of offices shrinking, there is going to be a movement from urban areas to suburban locations. People will no longer have to work in New York City, and I think there have been some polls that are showing that people from New York City's areas that have been hard hit are now looking to move into the suburbs. So the location of where work will be in the future will change as well. All this will mean less business travel. You can do a lot of the same functions, meet the same people, communicate with them through things like WebEx and Zoom, and that could change things. We're no longer going to be business travelers. We may just hop on a Zoom meeting and we can pull in different people from different offices all together and communicate and collaborate. And since we're all going to be accountants, or at least we all hope to be, I want to touch upon about the changes of the pandemic on accounting, where accounting firms are now engaged in more remote auditing because they can't go visit client site. We're going to be using technology in the future to meet the clients, to get that one-on-one, to see if whether or not, say, a client is being evasive about their answers, to read their body language. Increasingly also allows auditors will use newer forms to say, do audit inventory checks through drones, or whether or not they will be accessing, say, a warehouse security feed as a way to do inventory counts. I know one example that I read that one accountant firm was given read-only access to entire databases of their clients as a way to do their remote audit. This way, and this actually works out for them. They're actually now able, instead of just sampling individual information provided by the client, they are now able to do entire population sampling. They're also able now to do spot continuous auditing. They are able to pull information when it suits them. They could detect fraud earlier and more often instead of periodically at the end of a quarter or end of the year. And that's it, I believe. Any questions? Here are our sources, and thank you.